Read the news.
Hello, and welcome to Jim and Friends Read the News. My name is Jim Van Vunder, and I'm the producer of this show. The things you will hear over the next hour represent the views of Jim Van Vonderen and the people making them. All opinions and quotations in no way represent River West Radio and are the sole responsibility of the producer, guests, and callers. River West Radio is not liable for any legal issues arising from the content of this program.
That's right, Jim.
And today we have Zav Play and Gabe Hammer.
Hello.
And as if you've been listening, you'll notice we have a new little intro and some new background music today.
Mm-hmm.
Today being September 9th, 2012. Also the beginning of Packer season.
Beginning of fall as
And fall. Yeah, a lot of changes in the air.
Is it fall
It's also
today?
the beginning of the school semester.
I don't know if officially today.
It's not officially yet.
I think September 21st.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds right.
Or
Almost fall.
solstice. It's
Almost fall.
20th, I think, this year.
But disappointing first Packer game today. It wasn't horrible. They lost, so that's bad. But they were in it till they had a chance to come back at the end. It was a tough loss, but a tough team. San Francisco 49ers, who were in the NFC Championship game last year, so they lost to the Giants just like the Packers did in the playoffs. So who went on to win the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, just like they did the last time they beat the New England Patriots. They beat the Packers and then go on and beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But I'm going to digress.
So you think this is a harbinger of good or bad things to come?
Well, I think things are going to get better. They have a very young defensive group. I think the defense really struggled today. The offense struggled, but that was because they were playing like one of the best defenses in the league, so that was kind of to be expected. But they were able to come back, which anytime you fight back from adversity, that's good for a team. Good team building.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just say that things will get better for the Packers, I'm sure. Also, in football news, the Wisconsin Badgers stunk it up huge. Lost big upset loss. Probably messes up their chances to do big things this year as far as there's no way they're going to get a national championship. I mean, they probably would have had to win all their games to do that anyway. But they look like junk. So not good football in Wisconsin.
Unfortunate, but maybe when you have a bad start, it gets you. It's a wake-up call, and people work a little harder.
That's true, and it's early. So as they say, you want to be putting it all together towards November and December and get ready for the run in the playoffs. You just got to be in position and make the big surge.
And for people who want to hear more about the Packers,
yes,
there's an announcement.
I have announcements. Let's just get to announcements right away.
Okay. And in the meantime, today's is William Bligh's birthday. Died in 1817. He was a British admiral, and he's chiefly remembered for mutiny on the Bounty. He was the captain whose ship had been mutinied.
Does that mean that they turned against him then?
Oh wait, I'm sorry. He's chiefly remembered for the mutiny. Because Captain.
He led the mutiny. He led the mutiny.
Captain Cook was the ship's captain.
So he led the mutiny against Captain Cook.
He was sailing master on Captain Cook's ship.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, later, he was commander of the French wars and then governor of New South Wales, where he was briefly imprisoned by army mutineers on the so-called Rum Rebellion.
The Rum Rebellion.
He was made a rear admiral.
Twice.
I don't know.
That one's getting you.
Something's in my brain.
Very admirable.
Some virus in my brain, man.
That was the Rum what? The Rum Rebellion?
The Rum Rebellion. The so-called Rum Rebellion. But he was made rear admiral in 1811 and vice admiral in 1814. Brave and able officer. Anyway, it was his birthday today, September 9th.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, William Bligh.
Yeah. Did he end up in Davy Jones's locker? Maybe. Well, he was a sailor, so we'll just assume. But with what are you saying? With the announcements, even if you're not a Packer fan, watch Packerverse Thursdays from 9 to 11. I did, and I converted from Ian Quest. So there you go.
Yeah. And
I'm not sure what he converted from.
From not being a Packer fan.
Just not being a Packer
Yeah,
fan.
but being sort of ambivalent about the Packers.
Not a different team fan, just a not football fan to begin with.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I'm actually, he calls me agnostic. He calls me the agnostic,
You're
the Packerverse host.
Okay.
Because I don't know anything, and I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I don't know anything. And he got me into the Packers too.
That's right.
He talks a lot about the history of the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Goes way back into the origin of the name and Green Bay and everything, but then moves it all the way into the present.
I think I mentioned this once before. I ever meant my stepmom's family farm was sold for the south end zone of Lambeau Field. Like
Wow.
that's where part of the land was bought from them to build Lambeau Field.
Oh, interesting. So that's like your backyard.
Yep, in a way. So anyway, again, Packerverse Thursdays from 9 to 11.
What other?
It just
what other
might convert
announcements do
you.
Have?
We also have Richard and Deborah Forever. That comes from September 8th.
Which is yesterday.
It was just yesterday. So
Yeah.
Richard, there.
Richard and Deborah
Yeah.
forever. Okay, well let's hope that.
Best wishes to Richard and Deborah.
Yeah, best wishes, guys.
And sometimes you see the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right. That's from the Grateful Dead, and someone who's quoting I feel like we've had a few Grateful Dead quotes.
Really?
Yeah, I think someone's out there laying down the Grateful Dead quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
So
a lot of stuff.
you see the light if
Smart,
you're looking for it.
stoned man.
Look for the light. And a shout out to
Very good
ABE, and that's All Black Everything, and you can find them on Facebook.
Oh, okay. So look
So
that up.
ABE, All Black Everything, on Facebook.
ABE.
If you want something black, you go to ABE.
Okay.
And then the benefit show, of course, for RiverWestRadio.com is Friday, September 28th, starting around 8 p.m. And that's going to be at Linneman's. Of course, it's a fundraiser, so proceeds will be coming to help run this fine radio station that we are utilizing right now.
Be there or be square.
The Freddie Lee Band will be there, the Julie Before, Ian and Company, Crick D and Qualive,
Qualive, I believe.
Qualive.
Qualive. He's got a show. Both of those people. Crick D has a show. Qualive has a show. Ian and company do Stone Soup. And then, of course, Julie Brandenburg does Compose Yourself, which is a really great music show.
How about Friar Otto?
Friar Otto has his show. Last night was Friar Otto's show.
Okay. And Onion Breath Theater,
Yep.
Chuck and Santiago, who
Yeah, so
always follow us up.
all different shows will be represented, and
All
hopefully Jim and Friends can do something. We'll try to
figure out
think of
we
what
can
to do. Yeah.
Maybe we'll make some news.
Yeah, or we'll present
I don't
something, or maybe we can do something. I don't know. We got to think about that.
Can we create news?
How we can be.
We
I'm gonna think
Jim and
of
Friends-
create news.
Jim and Friends
Create-
band.
No. Create
Perform.
some news. I'll think about that. We'll figure some out. But anyway, the important thing, Linneman's, which is on Locust Street, 1001. That's Friday, September 28th, starting about 8 p.m. So, benefit show. Be there or be square,
Yeah.
as we say. So,
And then this day in history, I could tell you a few things about this day in history.
we haven't done one of those in a while. I like this
in
day in history.
1776, the Second Continental Congress changed the name of the nation to the United States of America from United Colonies on this day.
We used to be United Colonies of America.
In 1850, on this day, California became the 31st state. 31st state.
31st. What was Wisconsin?
I don't know.
We'll have to look
Not
that up
sure
in a
when
bit because I feel it was right around 30-some.
1893, President Grover Cleveland's daughter, Esther Cleveland, became the first president's child to be born in the White House.
Oh.
So first president's child. So that maybe like a vice president had a child before that. I don't know.
Yep. Maybe there were babies always being born in the White House, just not the presidents.
1926, on September 9th, the National Broadcasting Company, NBC, was created by the Radio Corporation of America.
Oh,
Wisconsin was,
RCA?
Wisconsin was the 30th state in the U.S. It became a state May 29th, 1848.
So it was the state before California.
Before California.
That makes sense because it was a move to the west,
Moved
right?
to the west, so Wisconsin, and then
Gold
California.
Rush.
Yeah, you have Solomon Juneau or all those people that kind of figured out this area, I believe. And 1948, the People's Democratic Republic of Korea was created on this day.
Long live democracy.
This day in 1956, Elvis Presley appeared on television for the first time on the Ed Sullivan Show. 1956.
That was when he was shaking his hips, right?
Yeah.
And it
They had
outraged
to cut-
everybody.
They had to frame above his hips.
Right, and he taught Forrest Gump how to dance.
Right. And
Well, actually, no. Forrest Gump taught Elvis how to dance.
oh, is that what it was?
Because he had his leg braces on, and he was like
that's right.
listening to Elvis in his room because he stayed at his mom's bed and breakfast.
Oh,
And he was Elvis liked his moves and stole them, and then did it on. Yep. So.
and the last one,
Anyway.
1976, Communist Chinese leader Mao Zedong died in Beijing at age 82.
Oh.
Sounds like mounds of dung.
Yeah, Mao Zedong.
Mao
Mao
Zedong.
Zedong.
Oh man.
Mao Zedong is how they usually say it. Mao Zedong.
We haven't done it in a while. Maybe we should go and get some more of those old Milwaukee.
Yeah, I was
News
thinking we got to
clips.
do some of our old.
I like
news.
the history. The
Yeah.
history lessons are good. We haven't done that in
Yeah.
a bit. If you're looking for Milwaukee history lessons, check Jim and Friends Read the News archive. Go back to
The first-
episodes 1 through 4 or something.
Probably
About
yeah.
that. I don't know. First couple, you'll get a good dose of Milwaukee history in there.
Yeah, but we'll get you some new stuff too.
Well,
some
we'll
fresh,
work on it.
some fresh old news.
No doubt.
Take two.
We're doing a little adjustment on
we
the
got that. We
sound.
got that sound. Sorry. We're changing our background sound, our new background sound. We're still working on our sound engineering on the new background. There you go. But where was the? I was going to say. So there reports apparently plus-size clothing is a growing trend. I'm sure that pun was intended by the journalist who wrote it, who was Sean Lee from the Los Angeles Times. But this was interesting. If you, we always try and give some financial advice on Jim and Friends Read the News. I think I got a tip here. Plus-size sales are poised to jump 5.2% annually in the next 5 years, while overall apparel sales will climb a modest 2.7%, according to the research firm Ibis World. The category is expected to hit $9.7 billion by 2017, up from an estimated $7.5 billion this year and $6.6 billion in 2009. So, if you're looking for a company to invest in, plus-sized apparel. Your big and tall shops.
Is there a specific company that you would?
Not that I'm not going to give out any specifics, but I mean, just look up companies that work on your plus-sized and curvaceous customers, and I think
Are you saying that plus size are going up because people are getting heavier?
Because people are wearing bigger clothes. I'm going to let everyone use their imagination as to why people need to wear bigger clothes. It might just be a trend.
No.
Or it's just a trend of people eating too much food. But because of that, get in on the big and tall shops. And then also, do you have the one on the AIG? Speaking of investing, it's because we bailed out AIG, the U.S. government, the federal treasury did, and it said on there, you have the article.
The U.S. Treasury Department said it will sell most of its stake in insurer American International Group, Incorporated. That's AIG, making the government a minority investor for the first time since it rescued the company 4 years ago. While the Treasury was universally expected to sell stock this month, the magnitude of the planned $18 billion offering was a surprise that will take the government's stake in what had been the world's largest insurer to around 20% from 53% currently. I'm sort of trying to understand this as I say it. The sale announced on Sunday will trigger a number of changes for AIG, the most important of which is that it will now fall under the Federal Reserve regulation as a savings and loans holding company since the company owns a small bank. The Treasury will also lose the ability to dictate the terms of further stock sales. AIG said it would buy up to $5 billion of the offering. Last week, the company sold part of its stake in Asian insurer AIA to help fund the buyback. So, what does this mean, Jim?
I'm not a complete economic expert, but the Treasury is selling back finally the shares to the company
so because selling off some of its shares.
So the bailout, we didn't just hand them the money over. We did get part of the company.
Yeah.
So they're giving it back to them, which was always the plan, like they said, but I guess it's a larger magnitude or something. What did you say? The fifth is going to go from the Treasury owning over half
it's
to only 20%?
Yeah, the government stake will go to around 20% from the 53%, which it is currently holding.
Right. So the Treasury owned most of AIG. That's weird.
Right, most, yeah.
That's weird. That kind of goes back to like that comic book that I talked about, I think last week, the Madman Magic book or whatever, where the corporations bought out the government or paid for the government financial collapse. They actually like bought them off. Because this is almost like the opposite. It's like the government bailed out them. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now because I'm
unveiling it out.
Right, they're like, unveiling it.
Right, they're dumping it.
Yep.
Well, I feel like it's probably a direction. It's probably going in the right direction.
I think that would be the right direction, right?
I heard an interesting thing in the. I believe this was in the 70s, around the time. I might be wrong, but I heard recently that at a certain time, the Republican Party. Oh, okay. Let's put it this way. I heard that there's a chance that the Republicans. Yeah, this was during the last time we had the closest thing to a depression, the big recession we had between Carter and Reagan era. Was the Republican Party decided to go back to the gold standard.
Right.
And
it's one thing.
There's predictions that that's going to happen again. That the Republican Party, like the Romney campaign, might come out and say we're going to go back to the gold standard.
Well, that's a big thing that Ron Paul always wants to do.
Right. That's what Ron Paul
wants. Right. He's been talking about that forever.
Going to a gold standard would mean that our money would be pegged to gold rather than to just fiction. Because right now it's just pegged.
It's just made up.
It's a fiat currency, and it means that it's made up money. It's like if I handed out a bunch of Monopoly money and said, okay, everyone trade this money as if it's real.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
And everyone just buys into it.
And like, all right, it works. Money works. You know, it's like having vouchers and you trade them. But when you back it by a commodity like gold, which is the most, just through history, it's always been the most.
Does it have to be one thing? Or can you back it by a bunch of stuff?
Well, in a sense, I mean, if you had back in the early,
there was a silver standard, the silver notes too, right?
Yeah,
silver
I heard
notes
that.
Sure,
That,
you can have it be backed by anything.
What we have as cash used to be more of a form, like a check or a note to pay him later.
Right.
In like coins.
So you could go to the bank,
right?
You
And
could
I want
literally
my
go
gold.
to the bank and say, "Give me back my here's my bills, and
I want my
now
gold."
I want the gold that represents those bills."
Yeah.
But you can't do that now. You can't go to the treasury
Yeah.
or
Right.
to your local bank or whatever.
They probably didn't want to run out of all the resources and stuff. So.
Well, no. What happened is that people started to play games with they started to manipulate it, and this is a very common thing throughout history where they were like, well, why don't we print more? Then we have more money out there, and it's a way that people sort of try to fix problems maybe at times, but it's sort of fudging things, and it gets out of control. And right now it's gone way out of control, and with the Federal Reserve is printing tons of money. So anyway, there's a prediction that I heard that one of the things the Republicans might do is come out and say we want to peg the dollar back to gold, but what happened back in the Reagan era is they said that, but it didn't ever happen. It was all just a ruse. It never happened. It was just all lip service, and they never did it.
Right.
So we'd all have to carry around bags of gold with us.
Well, no, that's the whole point is that you would
the
own,
banks would, the Treasury would have the gold.
Yeah, the gold would be in the bank.
Fort Knox.
Yeah, it's in Fort Knox or wherever.
So,
and everything is.
Isn't that a conspiracy theory that Fort Knox is empty?
I've heard things like that, but I don't believe that. I think
Right.
it's got gold. But I don't think there's anywhere near the amount of gold out there to back the money. I mean, there's not enough money to back our bills. Our bills there's no.
Well, not to mention that most of our money is just in electronics right now anyway.
Yeah, it's all just numbers.
I heard back in like '94 that all the gold that is left is enough to fill a small barn, and that was back then.
No, I've heard something like a football field of gold, and I don't know how high, but that size, quite a bit.
I heard small barn. So
who knows?
I don't know, but it doesn't really matter too much if it was. It's just that all that matters. Someone was saying it doesn't matter if it was just one tiny nugget of gold. If everyone was pegged to it, it doesn't matter. As long if it was a molecule of gold, it wouldn't matter if you had a dollar based on a molecule of gold. As long as you have some commodity that you can peg it to. But if it's just pegged to fiction, then you're in trouble because then it's like.
Yeah.
At some point, when people...
We should have an economist on our show.
Yeah. Well, here's the danger, is that you have a run on the banks. If, for example, everyone all of a sudden panicked and went to the bank and said, I want to take my money out.
It's a wonderful life scenario.
Yeah, it's what happened in the Great Depression. If people all of a sudden say, look, because money is basically an IOU, it's just a very elaborate IOU that keeps circulating around. If everyone all of a sudden said, okay, now pay me for this IOU. Now I want the real hard thing that represents it, which would be gold. If everyone suddenly said, I want gold for my money, then gold would, the paper money would go down in value, and gold would go up in value, and it would all adjust itself correctly.
What about other metals like silver, copper?
It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all. It's just that it's not that those things aren't worth. Those things are worth something. Your time is worth. Every hour of your day is worth something. Your car is worth a car. Your house is worth a house. But the thing is, and the foods you eat are worth something. They have value, but money doesn't. It's just paper. So that can change. You could have, a candy bar can go, or a hamburger can go from being 50 cents to $100, because it's just numbers. And so what happens is you could have if the market tries to correct itself at a certain point, you could have a situation where your dollar doesn't buy you much of anything, and
that would be weird.
And that's where you have hyperinflation. Or anyway, we don't want to spend too much.
Yeah.
All right, I got a story over here.
Let's get into this.
Real estate news here.
Okay, all right. From economy to real estate. Wait, let's jump over.
All right, I guess it's not too far of a stretch.
No.
Here is kind of an unfortunate story, which is, I guess, working its way out. But Lily Diaz, she tries to sell her home only to find that Wells Fargo foreclosed on it. So, found this earlier today. These days, the process of selling a home is hard enough. Now imagine selling one that you thought you owned but did not. This is what happened to Lily Diaz, a California woman who got 2 offers on her house to only find that Wells Fargo had actually foreclosed on the home. Basically, she had proof and was able to prove that she had been making payments and everything was, hers.
Legit.
Everything was legit, and yeah, Wells Fargo had to answer that. And unfortunately, mistaken foreclosures aren't a rarity. In fact, the nation's 5 biggest lenders agreed in February to pay $25 billion in part to settle allegations of robo-signing or foreclosing on homes without fully vetting the paperwork, in addition to the ranks of homeowners that fell victim to misleading foreclosures. This was swelling in 2010. So this is according to Associated Press.
You gotta watch those banks.
So, but yeah, she was able to produce the paperwork needed, but she's still having problems. Just earlier this week, it was reported that subcontractors hired by Wells Fargo ransacked one couple's home after foreclosing on it by mistake. The bank isn't the only guilty party. Bank of America foreclosed on a Florida couple last year, even though they didn't even take out a mortgage, according to FoxNews.com. So,
is that the one that I think that family actually got to foreclose the bank?
Really?
Because they illegally foreclosed on their house, so they countersued them, and they actually were able to go to like a bank location, and the police foreclosed the bank location, and they were able to repo all the stuff out of the bank because the bank owed the couple money because they didn't legally, how the lawsuit went down. So they actually were able to take all the possessions out of the bank and hold them until the bank got it all straightened out about their illegally, wrongfully foreclosing on their house.
Exciting.
That was pretty cool. That was on, check out Comedy Central, the Daily Show. The Daily Show covers that.
Okay.
She provided all the paperwork to the bank and everything, and that she made her monthly payments, and then she still wasn't able. She's still having trouble straightening things out. The home still can't be sold until all the paperwork and logistics get all worked out with the bank. So even though there was no actual, fairness to the foreclosure to begin with, it's just all kind of.
Yeah, that's kind of a scary thing about banks is like if something goes wrong with you in a bank, the bank has all the power because they have the money. You are like normally when you're like accused of something, you're innocent until proven guilty, right? But in that situation, you're stuck up against the wall where you need to prove you're correct or you're gonna, or you're in trouble. So it's like the bank is innocent until proven guilty at every time. It's like the bank is always innocent unless you can prove that they did something wrong, which could be really hard.
Yeah, or like for example, when you get sometimes like fees.
Yeah, or a late fee, or they hit you with a late fee they shouldn't have hit you with.
Right.
You're really at their mercy, and you have to prove them wrong in order to get your stuff back.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I don't know. I guess that's why some people don't trust banks and don't put their money in banks.
Well, I also feel like credit unions are probably the better way to go.
Yeah.
They're not quite as much of a for-profit institution.
Right.
I don't think that banks should be. I mean, I don't mind having for-profit institutions that are banks, but I think that the state should always provide a non-profit institution that does banking
Oh, like a
as
state
well.
bank?
Yeah, a state bank. A truly state.
A true state bank. Like I could go to a Wisconsin bank that is Wisconsin's bank.
Right, Wisconsin bank, just like
Each
the
state
Wisconsin
should
sidewalk.
probably have its own bank, though. I don't think it should be a federal bank.
Just like a public park.
Although there is a federal.
Oh,
Well,
they have that option.
I mean, just have that, and the same with insurance. I think there should be non-profit insurance companies that
no, there should be a
where
non.
everyone
well,
pays into
right.
an insurance company, and the insurance company has no interest in profiting. They're just pooling money together for people who have accidents.
This is sounding a little socialist.
Very social.
I don't know.
But I'm saying my suggestion would
You're a
be
capitalist hater.
that you should have those things, and at the same time, yeah, if someone wants to do a for-profit one, fine,
Right.
go for it. But it's like a public park. You can have public parks. If someone wants to make a
Well, there should be
theme park
there should be
that's not a public park,
state-made competition,
fine.
right? Because isn't capitalism's all based on the idea of competition, anyways?
Right.
So that competition in every market provides the consumer like the choices and options.
Yeah.
But shouldn't then there be a one constant
Right,
that the
one that
consumer
isn't-
always has option on,
Yeah.
which it would be the government one, which you don't have
Right.
to buy into. You could go into these other ones, but
Right.
you would then have a constant,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
instead of
here's
all the instead
For
of more
example,
variable
I
things.
run a video store.
Right.
You come here, you pay fees and everything to rent videos. But if you want, you can just go to the public library
Right.
downtown.
Yeah. Exactly.
Get a free library card. Go in there, rent 5 videos for free,
Right.
and
So-
they might even have a better
So
selection.
you actually are in competition with a state-run
right.
company that is a competitor
And
of
the way
yours.
that I compete with them is I have better hours and
Just maybe more
better hours,
options,
but I have
better
different hours.
service,
and I have erotic films which you can't
and
find in the library.
knowledgeable staff.
Yeah, and it's
and
more
that type of-
and it's
it's a
right
service
in your,
industry
it's right in
anyway.
It's right in your neighborhood.
Right.
So those are the things, but it's always good to have one that's
30 million Canadian dollars.
Canadian dollars. I just heard Canadian dollars. Are we getting an ad?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
We just
we
got spammed
several
Well,
minutes.
yeah, that's.
Canadian dollars.
I should wear headphones.
Ooh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I should have been paying
All right.
attention.
Everyone could hear it but me.
Canadian dollars.
Well, here's a result of if you did have to live in a state that's purely socialist.
No. Cuba?
China's famous
China.
river, the Yangtze River, which I believe, I might be wrong about this, but I believe the Yangtze River, Yangtze means, I'm pretty sure it means yellow river, turned red.
Yeah, I heard
I mean,
about
bright
that.
red. It looks
they didn't
like
have. They
blood.
don't have an explanation, do they?
Right. They say they don't know what the reason is. They think it might be pollution. Well, yeah.
Pollution, or yeah, right.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, it's
it's-
yellow. They would
I don't
just
think
have
I don't
to,
think water just turns red all by itself.
No.
Generally.
Although there
like an
are
orange to me.
microorganisms that'll do that every now and then.
But even then, pollution.
Pollution's usually the cause of the
cause of
microorganism.
something, yeah.
Over what do you call it?
It didn't. The color change didn't stop residents from taking
Yeah.
samples and getting closer looks.
Maybe he wants to buy some movies over there.
Or
What?
never mind. Sorry.
No. Gabe is running the store.
I did have a.
Oh, we have a
Gabe has
question.
something
We
to
have a
say.
question. We have a.
It's yellow.
Oh, why?
Oh, we have.
Why
Oh,
is the yellow river yellow?
thanks, Gabe.
Sulfur, the high sulfuric content of the water. So my guess of as to why it has turned red would be a shift in the
Iron?
pH level, and a red shift would mean something.
Iron,
Good. I would think
something.
maybe something like a copper or
copper,
a cadmium.
some
or
one of
something.
those. Yep.
But some kind of chemical. They've been having some weird stuff happening in China.
Rust.
Very
Something
weird
really
environment.
rusty
They've
just
been
fell
having
in a
very weird
little river.
environmental disasters over there. Their EPA is a far cry from
Well,
ours.
that's the thing too. Like again, with socialism, then leads no competition.
right.
So
And it can lead to things
and
like
think
this,
that-
like
right.
total opaque, the opposite of transparency.
that's why we should be combining them more.
Yeah, that's what I agree.
I don't know why
I
it's always
think that's
there's always like
little
a
of-
push to go in
too
one way
much
or
of
the
one
other. It's like
thing is
no,
always a
grab
problem.
both and slam
Yeah.
both into the pot. But I don't
Local
know.
fishermen
A lot of people have
also
problems with that.
refused to let the transformation get in their way, continuing their work as usual as though nothing had happened. In other words, these fish are going to be turning up on the market now.
Oh, eat.
Yeah,
Watch out for fish, people.
yeah.
Nothing, no
Well,
fish from
I like to eat a
China.
lot of good fish, but
Oh,
Well,
music?
Chinese fish. Stay away from
Careful
Chinese
about that
fish.
stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Well, I have an interesting story.
You got a
here.
story?
Yeah, I call this snakes in a car.
Snakes in the... Oh, there you go.
Marilyn Stewart, Leon Swainpole find python under the hood of their car. This is in Africa, by the way, so, you know, big pythons and stuff are...
Oh.
out
Okay,
there.
that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Right, when you told me the story, I was thinking like
Yeah, if
LA
that was
or
out
something.
here, that'd be pretty
Michigan.
weird, but,
I don't know why I thought LA right away.
Beefy looking python, probably a good, you know. Oh, it says it's 16 feet long.
16-foot long python wrapped up in your car.
Nice. All right. So the engine was making a mysterious hissing sound. Marlene Stewart, 38, and Leon Swainpole, 51, were looking for lions in South Africa in the national park, Kruger National Park. The Mirror reports when they stopped their car to speak with some other safari goers. They didn't look for the king of the jungle, but they got something pretty close. The king of the pythons. Yeah, they were informed that there was a python in the grass earlier that day, and then I guess it turns out that it
Got in
made
their
its
car.
way. It was right on top of the engine, just hanging out when they looked.
Sitting right on the engine block. Well, yeah, this is probably a nice, comfy spot, you know.
Yeah, nice and warm.
Nice,
yeah.
warm, underneath the hood there.
Yeah, that
Snakes.
does
Completely
happen.
protected. It's like
I feel like
a,
it's warm.
it's like a cave,
They're cold-blooded,
only
so
above ground.
whatever
Never
the temperature around them is the temperature they will be. So naturally, it's probably like basking in the sun on a hot rock.
Right, yeah.
Really?
So, but anyhow,
Watch out for
they were
pythons.
terrified, and you know, like, it doesn't say here, but
Doesn't say what
I'm
they did with it.
assuming that they had to drive 3 miles, and then they removed the snake. They went to a lookout point or something like that, and that's where they took care of the snake.
Okay.
You know, the flat.
You got something, Zav, otherwise?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I've got several stories.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Animal related.
All
Along
right.
the animal vein.
Is this about the cat in Russia?
Well, okay, we could do that. Well, first I'll get to the cat in Russia, but
Okay.
Sergio Alvarez,
there we go.
Malibu homeless man, was
Yes, I like
jailed
that
for
one.
strangling a pelican.
Right.
And if you
I
look at his
remember reading that
picture,
one.
he's got
Pelican.
bizarre. He's got a bizarre hairdo, not unlike my own bizarre hairdo.
Yeah.
He has kind of bird-like hairdo.
How much jail time did he get?
He's been convicted of strangling a brown pelican to death near
it-
Malibu Pier.
Is it an endangered species?
It's not endangered, but it is protected. I remember reading this article.
He admitted he killed the pelican because he was hungry and hadn't been able to catch any fish.
Yeah. And it was a protected animal.
And
so
he
you can't
initially
eat
said he found the
protected
bird
animals.
dead already, which is. I'm glad it wasn't dead and that he was going to try to eat it. I'm glad he tried
Well.
to kill a living one.
Yeah. So, what I don't get is
Passersby
like.
approached the sheriff,
Okay.
saying they had spotted a man choking a pelican, and then witnesses said he had his hands around the bird's throat, and that the animal was flapping its wings in distress.
Oh,
before
man.
completely limp.
So he
The thing
strangled
about
a pelican.
The thing about this is, I mean, it would be one thing if this man was. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. It'd be one thing if this man was sadistic and just killing pelicans.
No,
for
he
fun.
was actually just. He was a homeless man killing a pelican to eat it.
Right. I mean I feel like there's.
I almost feel like
and
it'll
I-
end. If
and
if he
maybe,
caught a
Sergio
pelican with his own.
Alvarez, there might be some. It might be that he's from a country where that wouldn't be so unusual to do that.
It's a bird. People eat birds.
Yeah. I mean.
I don't know. I don't find it that weird that he was going to eat a
Are you going to
pelican.
arrest someone for killing a chicken?
Well, I'm impressed that he was able to catch a pelican with his bare hands and strangle it.
Starving man.
Right. I mean, that's the starving man in the woods
feed him
grabs a.
If nothing else, it's like,
grabs a
okay,
pelican
I
and-
understand maybe reprimanding him, but
Well,
I don't think it's. I mean, I think it's fair if he knew what he was doing.
Well, I'm just wondering if he is homeless and we would think that he has no money and he needs to eat. What is he supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can't hunt now. I mean, that's taking away our primal, like the last case scenario of anybody.
Right.
If I'm starving and I need to eat,
Yeah.
the last thing I can do is go hunt an animal
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
farm, I guess. But
In a certain sense, it's like the brown pelicans are no longer considered endangered.
right, yeah, they're
They
protected.
are fully protected.
So I guess because he's trying to eat a protected animal, but
Also, I mean, if this was a trend, but it's not a trend. It's just a one-time thing. I don't know. I feel like sometimes people need to use a little more judgment or
I
understanding.
feel he could have
And
just
maybe,
been
you know,
slapped
maybe
on
he
the
was a little
wrist with a
imbalanced.
little, like, yeah, something. I don't think he has to go to jail.
Right.
I don't know.
60
harsh
days. He was
for the
sentenced for
Pelican
60
Strangler.
days and 1 year probation.
60 days and 1 year probation for strangling a pelican. That's too much.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
That's the kind of sentence that a private institution of what do you call it? Private prisons would pass
Oh
on.
yeah, the prison industrial complex.
The prison industrial complex,
So
which
he's
we've
very
talked about in the past.
Yeah.
All right, we got a pelican strangler for 60 days. How much money are they going to get out of him? Even though he doesn't have any.
Right. So then they just throw him in jail.
Right.
But you know what? He might be happy. You know, at
Yeah,
least he's got
that's true. Who
a
knows?
bed and a place to eat. Now he's got food and a place to sleep. You know what I mean?
Right? That's true. Maybe they were doing him a favor. Maybe that's what he. Yeah,
I mean, that's how bad things are for certain people.
right. I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
moving on to
moving to
other-
more animal news.
Yeah. Could cyborg cockroaches save your life?
Ah, yes.
Cockroaches outfitted with front and rear electrodes as well as a backpack for wireless control could be used
They say help locate people and
help
that are
locate
trapped.
earthquake survivors in hard to access areas. Biobots is what they call them. And there's something kind of sadistic about this where they are able to sort of control the roaches through by doing surgically putting little controls into their bodies.
They pretty much robotically control a cockroach.
Yep.
I
And they
feel
can
like that's
steer. Currently, we can steer
Yep.
these roaches remotely and make them stop, go, turn. If we can have them interact independently with the technologies we've surgically implanted in them, then they will become true cyborgs.
Yeah. Well, we've already been
And of
talking about the
course,
cyborg revolution.
You can use
on
them
the
to
show.
save people's lives, but you can use them for
Yeah,
all
yeah,
kinds
there's so
of
many stuff.
malicious reasons as well.
All you have to do is I just
Nefarious
think back to like Darkwing Duck, who was on the Disney Afternoon back in the day. They were like the bad guys, and they would do things like that. Like they would which is weird when I think about it. But I swear there were bad guys who would like robotically control like animals to do their bidding.
Yeah.
It's like a cartoon. It's like a cartoonish villain's like plot for world takeover. Just to
Yeah.
Anyway.
He was able to control the fish.
what are you gonna do with fish?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Cybernetics. Watch
Yeah.
out, they're coming.
Yeah, well, drones also are very interesting.
Yeah.
They can make drones that are the size of insects, and
That's the
and
nanobots.
probably you could outfit certain insects with electrical devices and such.
Yeah, they're getting scary good with that stuff.
What's that?
They're getting scary good with that
Yeah,
stuff.
it is. It's a very
The medical revolution.
it's a very strange
probably the next
frontier.
Yep. I think we're done with the internet revolution. Now we're gonna move into medical
interesting.
applications.
Yeah, you have nanotechnology, and then you can get into this sort of like biotechnology.
Yep. Well, it's the combination
Bionic.
of them.
Yeah. Jumping on the political bandwagon, a cat in Russia
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
is running.
name again?
His name is
It's like a
question.
thing or something.
Boblik?
Boblik.
Oh,
Boblik?
yeah, it is. It is
Boblik.
Boblik?
Boblik, yeah.
I'm not sure if we're pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
Boblik.
But he's neither left nor right and will never be affiliated with any party.
See, I like that.
His political ambitions are Bublik.
Bublik, okay.
Bublik. Yeah, this is a follow-up on Bublik.
Yeah, we've covered him in the past. But
Oh, really?
his, yeah, we talked about him, but I think his vote's coming up, like October or November.
October or November.
So all of our Russian viewers need
Vote for Bublik.
to vote for Bublik.
Yeah. A rally of Bublik supporters will take place shortly in Yekaterinburg, the unofficial capital of the Urals region, the CAT spokesman said. So far, the campaign has not gone beyond anti-neutering and lowering cat food prices.
I'm not sure about his platform, but I like that he's not affiliated with any party.
Yeah. And his name, Bublik, roughly means
Good
bagel.
enough for me. It means bagel.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Bublik.
Well,
His election is set for March 2013. So.
wow. We'll keep
yeah,
up.
we'll have to wait a
We'll
little
keep
while.
looking. Oh, he's on Facebook too.
Yeah. So you can look him up.
Check him out on Facebook.
Bublik.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's one more.
One more cat here.
Well, another
one more
cat story.
piece of news. This one is kind of visual.
Yeah,
cat.
I know which one you're talking about. I'll
Venus
get the camera.
cat.
Yep.
Venus
play
the
this?
cat is her own fraternal twin, literally.
You have a picture of it?
She is half black, half
Kind of an orange and
tabby,
white.
or what do you call that kind of color? Orange.
Orange tabby.
Yeah, half black, half tabby. So if you're watching this on video, you can
Oh, there
see
you go.
her.
Yeah. Look at
One blue eye and one
That's-
green yellow.
Yeah.
It's a half and half cat. It's a two-face.
Go down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the body.
The rest of the body is just
The rest
kind
of
of
her body
mixed.
is kind of mixed.
But
But
Look at that
right
face.
down
right
the middle.
down the middle.
that's
Perfect.
crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, this cat, whose name I don't know, what's his name?
It's another
Venus.
foreign cat.
Oh, Venus.
Venus? Okay.
Yeah. This is Venus, and it's just a freak of genetics there. But
Yep.
pretty cool looking. Oh, and one eye is blue
That's
and one eye is
nature
yellow.
going. That's just a regular nature one.
Yeah.
No genetic engineering needed.
No, yeah. No, I mean genetic. Not
It's
engineered.
just
Not engineered,
genetic,
just genetic
stuff,
Random.
mishap, randomness, yeah. Just kind of happened like that. It's a cool looking cat.
Oh, I was gonna say then. Do we have any more animal news before I move on?
I think I've covered all the animal news.
So that's all the animal news.
All right.
Yeah.
Animal news.
Well, I don't know about the. Okay, everyone's just gonna. I'll change that later. But master's degrees fall out of favor now.
Oh, yeah.
In Wisconsin classrooms, so teachers used to get a master's bump. That was called.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a bachelor's teaching degree, you go teach for a while, and then you get a master's degree while you're teaching,
Right.
and you'd get an increase, master's bump increase for for knowing your stuff. Since
Right.
you're teaching the kids, you should probably continue your education.
Yeah.
No longer.
Yep.
With the new union, whatever you call it, collective bargaining agreement, teachers no longer get that bump.
This is a Wisconsin thing.
It's a Wisconsin thing.
Uh-huh.
So good old teachers in Wisconsin's no longer really have a lot of incentive, or don't have the incentive of increased money, because I'm sure going to get your master's isn't going to, it's not going to be cheap for one, because don't you have to still pay for the college? I don't know if they say that. They should be able to go to, if you're teaching, you should be able to go to school for free. It doesn't say that. I'm sure you still have to pay. But yeah, you don't get a increase in your salary anymore. So they're saying that, okay, the dropping of the master's bump in many districts is also raising new questions. Oh, in many districts, so I guess it depends on the district, but they don't have to do it anymore. It used to be mandatory, no longer mandatory. About what kind of outside training is relevant to help teachers improve outcomes with their students, and what those teachers who are already taking home less pay by contributing more to their benefits, which, honestly, I pay enough towards my benefits, so will consider to be worth the investment. So yeah, the point being that they're no longer getting an incentive to learn.
Yeah.
So what? I don't know. Are teachers going to get dumber?
Well, I wonder.
Because you don't stay up on the things.
It's one of those things that I sympathize with especially the people who are right now in the midst of getting their master's degree.
Oh, right.
On the other hand, I'm also kind of a pragmatic person, and if pragmatically, for some reason, they did some studies and found that it really didn't improve, say, like the quality of education,
right?
Then I guess I could kind of understand, well, why would you have that rule in place?
With the people
but I don't know, I don't know what the facts are behind that.
With the people that are already in the program getting their masters, would they be grandfathered in then, or would they?
That's what Jim was saying.
I was looking at it. I don't think so. I think if you had already gotten your bump, it's not going to be taken away from you. But I think if if you're getting it now, if you haven't gotten it already, it depends on the district too. So some districts will still give it to you, but other ones don't have to and won't. So it depends on your district. I'm guessing that if you didn't get it yet, you're just going to be like out of luck.
I have to say that one thing schools do need to do is bring better people into the school system,
right?
And it's a monetary thing in a way.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that the best schools, the best universities, are just the reason they're the best universities is they have the best teaching staff.
Right.
They have people who are, famous in their field or the top of their field are the ones who are teaching. So, the more you do that, you're going to erode the quality of the schools, I'm guessing.
Well, that's the thing that I always never understood with our governor's position on taking this money out of the schools is that he wants to create jobs in Wisconsin, yet he's diminishing the workforce because he's taking the people who would be the workers that you want out because people don't want to go to a school that's underfunded.
Right.
And nor would you want to continue to work here.
Yeah.
If so, you're losing all your brightest workers.
You're potentially contributing to some sort of a slight brain drain.
I think it's an obvious brain drain. So I don't know. I always, if you wanted to create jobs, you should be putting money into such things, not taking it away. So I never understood that. But then again, that's just my humble opinion. And we're running close on time here. We only have 3 minutes. So let's make a quick one.
Story here. German Jews, Muslims unite to protest against circumcision ban.
Get that in there.
Pretty interesting story here in Berlin. Hundreds of German Jews and Muslims held a joint rally in Berlin on Sunday demanding that their freedom of religion be respected in a rare show of unity to protest against a court order that banned ritual circumcisions. The June ruling by a court in Cologne has sparked an emotive debate about religious freedom in a country which is sensitive to any accusations of intolerance because of its Nazi past. Although the ban applied only to the Cologne region, doctors across the country have refused to carry out operations because of what they say is a risk of legal action. Yeah, so some 300 Muslim and Jewish protesters united in their support, gathered together at Berlin's Babelplatz Square, known as the site of the infamous Nazi book burning ceremony. They waved banners reading "Foreskin, no thank you," or "Finally Germany is a colonial power again."
That's a good bumper sticker.
So yeah, it's a pretty long article here, but basically ruling in the case of a Muslim boy who suffered bleeding after circumcision. So that's what started it all, was a
bleeding incident.
Yeah, bleeding incident.
That's kind of tough.
But yeah, it's interesting that the Jews and the Muslims united over this, and it's creating quite a stir.
Yeah.
So
circumcision, hot topics.
Yeah,
But,
I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Well, it's one of those things that in some ways I could kind of care less, but in another way, I mean, if I had, it's one of those things. I could see it being a hot button topic, but religious for who? Because the child doesn't even know anything yet, and you're
tradition.
You're creating an unnecessary surgery on their body before they have a chance to even make a decision about it.
Oh man, with that. we are out of time. Chuck and Santiago is coming up next.
Santiago are coming up.
We will leave people to their circumcision decisions at home.
Their circumcisions
at home. But anyway, today was September 9th, 2011. Hopefully the Packers get things on track next week, and stay tuned to that Packerverse.
That's Thursday.
Thursdays at 9
to 11. 9 to 11.
So pay attention to that, and we will see you next time, of course.
Yep.
And do we have the? No, I don't think we have enough time. We gotta get Chuck and Santiago. Everyone, pay attention to them.
Chuck and Santiago.
So until next week, we will talk to you then. This is Jim and Friends Read the News.
Bye.
Sayonara.